Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to go ahead and go through the business credit ebook credit report as an actual inquiry. So that's the differences. Credit card hard pull database, that's you can use credit boards for that because credit boards has a lot of information, or you could just do a simple Google search and see what people are saying, because different states, different cards sometimes pull different credit bureaus. It just depends. Like with Navy Federal, I live in California, they just pulled my TransUnion, but I have seen them pull Equifax in the past as well. Now, if you want to open up a Navy Federal business bank account, you must be a member first. Business bank accounts should not require an affiliation with the business, but I always recommend having a personal relationship with the business banking institution as well, especially when it comes to Navy Federal, because you can build a really good internal score on your personal side with Navy Federal and then transfer that relationship over to your business, which again, relationships are so important, especially when it comes to Navy Federal. Chase is mostly based off Experian. I have seen them also pull from Equifax as well, but they are primarily Experian. So the Chase Ink card is pretty popular. Again, in California, they're going to pull Experian and Equifax. In these other states, they might pull these bureaus. It just depends. Experian, they have, you can apply for multiple business credit cards with American Express using one credit inquiry, and you can just keep on applying. I used my cell phone and I just sat there and I kept on applying and applying and applying until they finally said, nope, call us, stop. So I was able to get 4 business credit cards. I got the business blue cash card. I got another blue business card. I was able to get the plum card and the green business card, and then I actually got the American Express gold card with another inquiry. So I used 2 inquiries and was able to get 5 business credit cards, totaling over $100,000 in business funding by just getting business credit cards. And mind you, they have a really good reward system, so you can leverage that and basically pay for it. I don't recommend manufacturer spending when it comes to American Express, because you never want to damage your relationship with them, because you can open up a bunch of different American Express cards for each business that you own. Okay, American Express preferably would like 2 years in business, but if you have a strong personal credit profile, they will look past that. So I have seen new business owners get approved for multiple business credit cards with American Express by leveraging their personal credit. And again, personal credit should be at least a 700 on Experian. So 700 credit score with Experian for American Express. Here are some more information here as far as what states pull what. Wells Fargo, they're primarily Experian as well, but they have been known to pull other places based on the state that you're in. Bank of America, they're going to pull Experian 80% of the time. So usually it's Experian. When I applied for my autos with them, it was Experian, but sometimes it can be different based on the state that you're in. Barclays, TransUnion, the Barclays Advantage is a good card. Citibank is primarily Experian and Equifax. Sometimes it's TransUnion, but if you can get a Citibank card that's going to use your Equifax, that's going to be ideal, because not a whole lot of places are only going to pull Equifax. So if you can leverage Citibank to use as your Equifax pulls, I'm sure you can find a couple cards that are only going to pull Equifax that are going to be from Citibank. U.S. Bank pulls TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax, so it's really a toss-up. And here's some of the different states and approvals that you can get based on where you live. BB&T is another one that pulls Equifax, but they might not be in your state. So they merged with SunTrust, but both banks offer 0% interest for 12 months on their business credit cards. SunTrust is right here. Capital One, they are going to pull all 3 credit bureaus, so be careful with them. And some of their business cards will report to your personal credit. So again, be careful. HSBC Fleet Cards, this is the credit approval. So they want an 80 paydex score, 5 to 7 accounts reporting, and they will approve you for a fleet card without a personal guarantee. Without those, they might require a personal guarantee. Okay, Fuelman oftentimes now will want a personal guarantee. Chevron Texaco, BP Master. A lot of the fuel cards are considered like tier 2 because once you get at least 5 to 7 accounts reporting, then you can start applying for a lot of the tier 2, which are going to be your store cards and your gas cards, and some of the better business credit products that aren't going to require any sort of membership. But some of the net 30 accounts and vendor accounts will require a membership, and it's just a cost of doing business, because it's kind of like one of those things that we just have to pay for with some situations because we need some extra business trade lines. And it's much better than paying and buying for primary trade lines from somebody that who knows if they're valid. I just don't know. You want to be leery of that. Sometimes if it seems too good to be true, it might just be. So do your due diligence and, see if you are interested in buying business trade lines, you really want to verify the source and make sure that you can see it reporting, and possibly even have them added to your profile before you pay to ensure that it will post, because the business vendors, they report differently than the personal. So just some game there. Discover usually pulls Experian. They report to personal credit. Regions, they're going to pull Experian and TransUnion, and does not report to personal credit. Most of these banks don't report to personal credit, but you always want to verify with them, are you going to report this business trade line to my personal credit? Only for like the major banks. Like Capital One's going to report it. Regions does not report it. It doesn't, PNC is not going to report to personal. And again, a lot of these business credit cards, no documentation is going to be required. So these are no doc loans, essentially. This is what people are talking about when they say no doc loans, applying for credit cards and lines of credit that don't, or autos that don't require any documentation, no tax returns, no profit and loss statement, no nothing. They just want to use your personal credit. They just want to make sure that your business is structured properly, that you can be found online, that you're a legitimate business. Okay, so that's powerful. Okay, that's super powerful. Citizens Bank, Equifax reports to personal credit. So again, you can just verify with the bank if they are going to report or not. Regions does not report to personal credit. They pull Experian and TransUnion. We went over that already. Fleet cards, we got that. Turning cash into credit. So you can read through this. You can learn how to manufacture spend, which is basically where you buy something with your credit card, and when you return it, it returns to your debit card, and you can liquidate credit cards that way. You can also use Plastique, or you can try to pay using your credit card. Okay. I don't recommend cash advances because they are expensive, but you can find credit cards that will let you take the highest cash advance for 0%, or you can balance transfer. So those are some options. A lot of people like to balance transfer. Me personally, I don't really do a lot of balance transferring. Like if I'm going to leverage a credit card, it's going to be to buy supplies, or if I wanted to manufacture spend, I could, but I just don't have the time for that kind of stuff. So some things are just, not right for others. It is a lot of work having to manufacture spend and transfer this, that, and the other, but a lot of people do it and they have great success with it. So just read through this, understand what it's saying here, and you can follow the steps and be able to liquidate your credit cards. Plastique, that's another very popular one. Balance transfer checks, checks from cards, store refunds, buying Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin and crypto with credit cards now. So those are all options for you to be able to liquidate your credit card. Let's talk about loans, lines of credits, and financing. So Now that you have your tier 1 and tier 2 vendors, you should have at least 10 or more business trade lines reported to your business credit bureaus, okay? Once you have at least 10, you can start applying for business loans and lines of credit and financing. You need to have at least 5 net 30 accounts, at least 5 store cards, so that's 10 total reporting, and at least 5 credit cards, along with at least 2 $10,000 limits when you start applying for business loans, financing, and lines of credit. Our top lenders are, of course, our lenders, Credit Coach Pros. So you can go to our website right here where we offer up to 100 million. Kabbage, Lending Club, On Deck. These are all places that you can go and apply for business funding. Now, if you apply for us with us, we will make sure that we shop and get you the best deal possible. And of course, it is not going to be a hard inquiry until you actually accept the offer. Removing hard inquiries. So you want to make sure that when you are going to apply for funding, your credit is in the best shape possible. You have the lowest amount of inquiries, you have the lowest amount of credit utilization. If you need to buy a trade line to kind of spruce things up, you can buy a trade line to increase a higher limit, to increase your age, your history, and you can also work on removing inquiries. I have included the inquiry removal guide here for you guys. And sometimes you'll need to send letters in, but Experian is pretty good about removing inquiries over the phone still. TransUnion and Equifax can be a little stubborn. It just depends on how persistent you are, but you can always write letters and send them on into the credit bureaus and go about it that way. This is the freeze guide. If you wanted to freeze your secondary credit bureaus, you can do that as well before you start disputing. If you don't have time to, don't worry about it. But because sometimes when you freeze the third parties, it can affect your ability to get approved for credit. So if there's not anything that you're trying to hide, you don't have any derogatory information listed with any third-party vendor like LexisNexis, SageStream, Innovis, any of those places, I wouldn't worry about it. But if you are concerned, you can always freeze or opt out of reporting with LexisNexis, SageStream, Innovis, CoreLogic. Those are, some of the top ones that report your personal information to other people. So that is part 1 of